Swap for longest repeated character substring. Given a string, you can perform one swap. For example, if you swap this B with this A, you will have a AAA substring, and you have two B here. So the AAA substring's length is 3, the 2B length is 2, the longest substring with repeated character is 3. In this case, if you swap this A with this B, you will have 6A here, so you return 6. In this case, if you swap this A with this A, you have 4A here, but this 2A doesn't contribute because it must be continuous. In this case, you don't have to swap, that's fine, you return 5. In this case, no matter how you swap, it is still 1. The given string length is at least 1 and consists of lowercase characters only. So pause the video and see if you can solve it. Let us look at this test case. What is the intuition for this question? You can think of all the continuous characters as a single block or island or a group. For example, these 2A is part of the same group, these 2A is part of the same group, these 3A is part of the same group. Similarly, this single B is its own group, this single B is its own group. Now, if two groups are, same character, and the distance that separate them by, for example, this B, the distance that separate them by is exactly 1 character, you can combine the two groups, right? So this group and this group, you can combine them. But if you add another B or add another C, doesn't matter. All that matters is the distance. If it's more than 1, you cannot combine them anymore. Similarly, for these two groups, this A and this 3A, if I put another C here or another Z or another B, it doesn't matter. You cannot combine them anymore. But as of now, you can combine them. So the final result should be 6 because you can swap this A and this B. So it becomes 6. Now you can only combine them if you have a character to swap by. For example, in this case, your A has 0, 1, and 3. The distance between these two is 2. Theoretically, you can combine the two groups. However, you don't have another A for the rescue, right? For example, if you have a C, G, then an A, sure, you can combine because you have an A to swap by. You can only combine the two groups if you have another A to swap by. But in this case, there's no extra A for the rescue, so you cannot combine them. So some of the insight that we get is we can only combine two groups if it's the same character, right? And the distance is exactly 1. And what character separate the two islands or group doesn't matter. This can be B, this can be C, doesn't matter. What you can do is put down the index of the island. So you have 0, 1. Then if you have B, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is part of one island. This is part of one island. This is part of one island. And because this has a difference of 2, so you can combine them, right? And this has a distance of 2, so you can combine them. But if this starts with 7, you cannot combine them anymore. And we know the final result should be the total number of characters in the current island and the number of characters in the previous island. As of now, current island is empty, the previous island is also empty. Okay, so let us start iterating through A, right? When we reach the first character, current island is 1, previous 0, because there's no previous island. Okay. Now the difference is 1, so we know, okay, it's a part of the same island. Okay, current plus plus. Then we reach here. Oh no, it's not the same island anymore. So 0 and 1 will become the previous island, and 3 become the current island. So we push the result of current to previous, right? So pre is 2, current is 1. Again, this is the previous island, this is the current island. Okay. So we continue, current plus plus, right? So previous has 2, current has 2. Okay. Now, when we reach here, oh no, we have broken the island. So previous become current, right? So 3, 4 become my previous island. So current value will go to pre, so no change. Then current become 1. The current island is 6, right? Okay, so let's continue. 7, okay, current plus plus. Then we continue. Okay, current plus plus. What should the final result be? The final result should be current plus pre plus 1, right? The current plus pre plus 1. And the plus 1 should be conditional if there's another A elsewhere. For example, if this 0 and 1 don't exist, you cannot plus 1. But now, since 0 and 1 exist, you can plus 1. We will also need a sum variable to keep track of the sum of current and pre. This variable will make sense when we come to the actual coding. Okay, so let us start coding. We will first have an array of size 26. This will be an array of arrays. So let's copy to the array. This will be an array of size 26, and each array will be an empty array. And we will look through the text, groups, text.char code at I. Now I should minus 97 because if you go to ASCII table, small case a corresponds to 97. 97 dot push I. Okay, so let's log what group is. Makes sense, right? So A has 0, 2, and 4. B has 1 and 3. Okay, so let us initialize result as 0 and return result. Loop through groups, group dot for each. Within each group, we have a current, have a pre, have a, let's just call it sum. So group will be, for example, 0 to 4, right? We compare the current and the previous. So we can start from index 1. So if the current is the previous plus 1, that means you have 2 consecutive, right? Then we know plus plus cur. Else, well, let's just change cur to 1 because we are starting off with the current, because we're starting off with index 1. Else, there are 2 situations, which is, if the difference is 2 or if it's more than 2. If the difference is 2, this is plus 1. Else, if the difference is 2, pre should be cur. Else, pre should be 0 because you cannot combine. Cur equals to 1. Then your sum will be math.max sum and pre plus cur, right? At the end of the loop, you will do res equals to math.max between res and sum. Sum will plus 1, but that plus 1 is conditional. So you will do, well, if my sum is less than group.length, I will plus 1. Else I will not plus 1, right? I'm not sure if this parenthesis is needed, but let's just use it, right? Oh. Submit. What is the time complexity? The time complexity should be linear because we've broken down the length of the string into 26 groups. So within each 26 groups, the index is visited exactly once, right? Within each group, have we visited each index more than once? No, doesn't look like it. And this group length is constant because it's 26. So it's linear, all of n where n is the length of the string.